Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mind of a Body podcast. Yes, we're still here, we're still talking, we aren't banned yet. Mark's got his mouth under control. So this week we have myself, we have Mark and Jim, and we also have Charlie from the Scottish Highland Games Association. He's the vice president, and we're going to talk about. We're just going to jump right into the chat, to be fair. So, seeing as you're a guest, Charlie, I'll start with you. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you? How's your week been?
I'm Charlie Murray, as you said, the Vice President of the Scottish Highland Games Association. The week's been okay. The weather's been typical Scottish weather. Rain, sunshine, wind, rain.
More rain.
I've not really been up to much. Don't really want to talk about it on here because Mark might take a flip.
No, tell him.
Tell me, please tell me.
I've been preparing another couple of cavers.
Mention ratchet straps, and I will ignore all social distancing and slap you on the forehead.
I take it Nathan's not been filled in on the total
I got a brief insight on last week's episode. I got a brief insight. Yeah.
Right. Well, as you know, they were up in Scotland, and I took them out to see a couple of weight for height stands. And I also said that a couple of cavers are you lads that are sitting in the rack. So that's been about it's only midweek, there's a lot could happen. We've got a good day tomorrow and then rain for Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Fair. Hopefully it picks up. Obviously it's forecast rain and stuff, but then again you are in Scotland. What can we say?
But normally at this time of year, we myself and other people involved in the Highland Games would be flat out either preparing for your own games or preparing to assist others. The association would be busy, emails, correspondence. There's absolutely nothing happening on that front. There is a wee bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, nothing like normal.
No, it's no normal year, I'm afraid.
It's the same. It's the same everywhere. It's the same everywhere, Charlie. It's we're all having to try and adjust to what the new normal might bring, sort of thing. But it's all unraveling every day. I'll jump to Mark and Jim. I can group this together today. I have to keep it a bit. Exactly, I have to keep it a bit PG so you don't start squabbling like schoolgirls. But yeah, Mark, Jim, how's your week been? What's new? What's going on?
For me, pretty much just keeping busy with the Wounded Highlanders stuff. I've obviously now that we've been up after speaking with Charlie and collecting some kit, I have catalogued all the kit, so it's all on record of what we've got. Been lifting stones a few times with the band.
Look at his face.
And just keeping busy, to be honest. Obviously trying to keep the Wounded Highlanders moving forward. I've sat down for the past week and sort of put the constitution in place, waiting to finalise that. Obviously Mark will be taking on the treasury side of it. We've got Maria who will be taking on the secretary side of it. And we've also brought Nick Steele in, who was working with BFBS Radio as a military correspondent, should we say. And he'll be taking on the PR side of it. So we're slowly moving forward. We've got pretty much, not all of the kit, but as much as we can get at the moment.
Yeah. With Mark forgetting his ratchet straps.
Yeah, and planning, that wasn't me that said it, by the way. And planning on obviously having a small, socially distanced training day on the 11th.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll get a couple of the team members up to my area, to the local athletics field that's open, to try and get some throwing done, and obviously speak with team members and tell them what's actually happened so far and what the plan is to move forward.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good. That busy. Well, it's always busy in a week of gym. To be fair, if you're not doing courses, you're doing some sort of blooming admin. And
you've got to keep yourself busy though, haven't you? It's like I spoke to this yesterday, and I went to bed last night and I was bored. She took too long to put the telly on, so I sat and done an online course.
What was the course? Tell the people what the course was, Jim. Tell the people the title of the course.
It was, what was it again? Understanding COVID-19 restrictions and guidelines for on-set filming. On film set. So it was there. It was free. I completed and got the certificate.
Fair one. Well, Spielberg, if you're looking for an actor who understands the fundamentals of all things COVID-19 on your film set, Jim's your man. Jim's your man. But yeah, Mark, what have you been doing? What's new? Go on.
I've been light training this week. My arm feels a little bit better. So I've been slowly building the weight up. I'm not over thrashing my arm, just to the point where I want to keep it going in the right direction. Just generally helping Jim with the constitution, any meetings we've discussed and everything else. It's quite a steady week when it comes to work-wise, and I had a really good conversation with one of my clients. He's absolutely smashing it. He's getting on his food, and he's put on nearly half a stone. So he's moving in the right direction. So it's been a good week for me, a good positive. So I enjoy people that put the work in.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you want the results, you've got to put the graft in. It's like that with everything, isn't it? Really, mindset over everything. But yeah, let's jump straight into it. So, seeing as we've got Charlie here, but we'll keep with the topic of the Highland Games. But when it comes to the Highland Games, Charlie, what sort of impact has COVID-19 had on you, the planning, the games, everything, to someone that doesn't know anything about the Highland Games?
I think the biggest impact the COVID-19 will be the fact that there isn't any games. People don't understand, a lot of the games are held in communities. Sadly, that won't happen this year. Sometimes it's just an annual get-together. And I think the games have actually overtaken Hogmanay as the main focal point in some of these communities now. I think we were fortunate enough by the lockdown being in March, which allowed, I would say, 90% of the games to make a decision to cancel. So there wasn't really a knock-on effect as far as expenses goes. There wasn't programmes printed. There is some costs that are inevitable, but I think the cost against events will be very, very little. It's more the impact that there isn't in an event. That's the biggest impact that COVID-19's had on the games.
No, that's it. We see it a lot with other sporting events as well, aren't we? With, like, say, the Euros, the Olympics and things like that. It's more the fact that there is no. Everyone's used to the routine of the events happening, and there is no event happening this year. So it's what do you do in the meantime? Is there anything you're doing in the meantime?
There's no really anything. What I mean, I'm probably well ahead of what I've been doing. I've been making some stands for people. I've made a few cavers that should have been used in 2020, but unfortunately they're not. They'll just go to the member games that requested them. So it's really just a year of preparation. But you get on the top of things, and it becomes that you're doing it for no reason.
Yeah, but then it's all focused on 2021. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think there'll be a big push with the games. I'm not sure if you were aware that there was a Netflix program just released there a week ago, and I think that will be it'll be a big boost to the Highland Games.
I haven't seen that. What's it called? I haven't seen that.
A home game, I think it's called.
Home games. It's really good, especially for anybody that has never heard of the Highland Games or doesn't understand the background from it or what it entails. It's not what it shows as well. It's not just about what they call the heavies, the throwers, the athletes, and it's like what Charlie said. These events come round once a year for each community, and that is basically what it is. It's a community event that has athletes involved. And I would advise anyone to watch it because it's brilliant.
What's it called? Home games?
Yeah, home game.
Oh, beauty. I'm going to have a look at that. I have to have a look at that.
There's another one, I think they're just in the planning stages. It was filmed, I believe, 2015, 2016 by two freelance fellas. And it's going to come out on Amazon Prime. But you'll be pleased to hear the focus on that is on the English athlete Scott Ryder.
Yeah.
Tremendous asset to the Highland Games. Scott travels up for London at the weekends, competes. He possibly takes 6 weeks absence for his job. He's a PE instructor in a school, and he attends when there's a lot of games on, midweek games, etc. But he's been a tremendous asset to the Scottish Games as a competitor and as a person in general.
It would be nice to it would be nice to try and get in touch with Scott Ryder actually and get some sort of try and get into his mountain of knowledge and get some information and that from him, and maybe he's at a later date when everything's sort of back to what we used to say was normal. Maybe he's even get him to come along if he's free and available to some training sessions with the lads as well, you know. It's,
Scott is definitely. Scott's very approachable. Obviously, he comes from London, but I'm sure we could work something out between us once things get back to normal.
Way to travel, that, isn't it? That's a way to travel. But yeah, so thinking on the side of the athletes and competitors and things like that, obviously we've had Charlie's wealth of knowledge when it comes to the Highland Games and all the planning and everything that goes into it and that side of things. But it'll be good to get an insight from yourself and Jim on what sort of impact COVID-19 and not having the games this year has had on you.
It broke me. To be fair, I trained hard for this year. I trained that hard a year myself, and then when we got told it was actually being cancelled, I had nothing to look forward to. And I'm a very goal-driven person, so I set my goals, I set my targets, and I smash them. I couldn't do that this year. But what we got planned for next year will overpower this year by tenfold. I can't physically wait till next year. I want to fall asleep and wake up next year.
Fall asleep or wake up in 2021.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it was sort of. It sounds stupid, really, because for me, I sort of, as soon as I remember sitting in the recovery centre on the Tuesday with Mark, and the word come out that the centre was shutting on the Friday for the foreseeable future.
I remember that.
And the first thing I thought was, what's happening to the games? That means we can't train,
Yeah.
So if the games are still on and we can't train, that means I've got to put something in place for everyone to be able to train solo.
Yeah.
But then obviously, in the back of my head, I sort of knew the games weren't going to happen this year because everything that was going on and sort of the impact that was going out, it wasn't going to be a 2-week shutdown and everything back to normal. And so for me, it was sort of, in the back of my head, I sort of 99% knew the games were going to be cancelled, but I just hoped and prayed they weren't. Because for me, again, it was, I want to attempt them world records. I want to attempt the world records that Broken Cable's got in place. It's sort of, it's itching at is the fact that the Americans hold every one of them. I hate it when you say the Americans say, like for instance, their basketball league, they call it the World Championships. But there's only the Americans who are allowed to compete in it.
You call football, which you play with your feet, soccer. And then you play a game which you use your hands. Football. It makes no sense.
Exactly. So then when that Broken Cable come round and they start saying it was world records, and then I looked into it and it was world records as long as you competed in America. So that sort of wound us up a bit. So after speaking
we beat after them.
Yeah.
Unofficially on our event, I'm going to state that just before anyone comes and says we broke records, but we haven't done it at an official event, but we have.
Yeah, it's so after speaking to them, which they understood as soon as I spoke about them, I spoke to Matt Hall for a good week or two about it, and they're happily sort of allowing the Broken Cable world records to be broken anywhere in the world now. So as long as it's done at an official event and it's on an official record bit of paper, you can input it. So that's good. It just means I've got sort of a year now to pull back on my training a bit because I don't want to sort of do too much this year with nothing in place.
Yeah, maintain.
So, just ticking over. Then come next year is where obviously I'll start putting what we used to call in the boxing when I was a boxing coach was your fight camp, which was your 10, 12-week camp, sometimes 15-week camp where it would build up so you were at the perfect place for when you competed.
Yeah, but optimum. If
there's more events opened up or more invites come round for next year, then obviously it'll sort of be not a full training camp. It'll be trying to keep ready for as many events in a row without the time off.
Maintenance a peak.
Yeah. Maintaining the peak, yeah. Sounds like you've it's gonna go full circle, to be fair. I personally think like next year because there's so much going on next year as well, like in every sport, like everything that's been postponed this year. It's going to be a massive year for sport up and down the country, I reckon. But again, I've never personally been to a Highland Games. I were really looking forward to coming up this year. But obviously, it's all focus will be on 2021, and I look forward. It'll probably, to be fair, because I haven't been up before. 2021 will be absolutely class because everyone who's everyone will be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone who was going to come this year, plus the people that watch the series on Netflix, watch the series on Amazon Prime, it should go through the roof, to be honest.
It should, yeah, and for anybody else, obviously there's the one on Netflix at the minute, and then obviously the future one coming with Amazon Prime. But in between all that as well, there's also Charlie from the Art Blairstones. He set his own YouTube channel up as well now, so I think each 3 episodes in on YouTube about the history of the Art Blairstones, which is obviously the ones that we want to get our hands on. And so I would advise anyone to go and watch that as well, because that's very interesting coming from the man himself that created them, and it's strange just to see something that he made for himself to train with is now known throughout the UK.
Mega.
Yeah.
Mega. So, because obviously I've never been to the Highland Games, so I'm itching to find out a little bit more about it. To be fair, how it's evolved over the years and stuff, and I think the best opportunity we're going to get is obviously having Charlie Charlie on this week's podcast, I can fill myself full of knowledge and stuff. But yeah, so Charlie, over the years, like when did it begin? What's the selling points to the Highland Games, and how's it evolved over the years? Would you say?
I think the Highland Games haven't evolved a wee bit. They haven't changed a lot. The tradition is still there. It's difficult the rules have changed a wee bit, which they had to for safety, etc. But the games itself are as near as they were the first day as they are in 2021 will be. Certain things have changed, and it's not so much in the competing part of the games. If you look at the development in Highland dancing has changed a lot, which is a big part of the games. Brings a lot of colour to the games for early. The heavyweight competitions tend to start midday and go on till 4:30, 5 o'clock. The Highland dancing starts with the wee juniors, 4 or 5 year olds, sometimes younger, for 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then they go into what they call the seniors mid-afternoon. Likewise,
so it's like a full-on culture festival in a sense, isn't it?
Yep.
By the sounds of it, it's like showcasing Highland culture as well as being a sporting event.
Yep, that just about sums it up. It's exactly what it is, and you've got your trade stalls that sell sometimes local produce, the a lot handcrafted stuff. I'll show you some if you get it on there. There's a friend of mine done this. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's a world famous Field Marshal Montgomery pipe band, Spurn. And I got the boy to put that into a tartan background for me.
If you want to just edge your camera down slightly so we get it all in camera. Oh, sweet, yeah.
Yeah. Well, me and this fella designed that.
Yeah. Is that wood, that?
It's wood, and that bit in the middle's leather.
All right, yeah. Oh, sweet. That looks spot on, that. Good detail on that.
That's
obviously,
the kind of things they do them with Highland cattle and different things.
Yeah.
But it's also you've got in midday. What I mean, you've got the piping, solo piping, individual pipers that play on their own. Then maybe you have a pipe band competition. It's just a whole.
You just want to wedge your camera down, Charlie, so we can get your face in. Sorry to interrupt. There we go.
It's a whole day of celebration, music, dance, and obviously refreshment.
well, we're in Scotland, so
you do what the Scots do.
We did.
Oh, it sounds class. Like obviously, Mark and Jim have been telling me all about it and things like that. But until I'm able to go up and witness it for myself, you never get the full impact. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have a look at the Netflix film or series. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, that'll give me some sort of insight. But I reckon it's gonna be a big year. 2021 is gonna be huge. After all this, because everyone is literally just pounding away at blooming, getting ready for, even if it's not the Highland Games they're getting ready for, it's other things. But everyone's just trying to keep focused, because keeping focused is gonna get them through the pandemic in a sense, really, won't it?
Yeah. The only thing that there's a concern is the numbers that will be allowed to gather.
Yeah.
You know, ongoing, there will be a concern. Will it be 1,000? Will it be 3,000? Will it be 5 or 10? And that goes across every sporting event without spectators. And I'm only saying this, in my mind, there's no event.
We've seen it with football, haven't we? We've seen it with the football. football being a prime example.
I think the good thing as well at the minute, though, is like, especially with the Highland Games being a community event, it's not just about the throwing the heavy stuff, should we say. It's not just about the athletes. It's about the whole event. It's about the income for that town, village, city. The community itself benefits from. Some communities, from what I've seen or read about, is that their event is held to help them for that year. So, and I think the good side to the lockdown at the minute is that we've got potentially 10 months for things to get back to normal so that the events can run as normal.
And it's not only that, it's so we can get, like, a big part of the reason why me and Jim want this so much is because we want to put the adaptive side into it. And it's getting us known. That'll be the hard part. That'll be the struggle that we have, is getting known that we're an adaptive team, that we're still competing. We're not adapting the games. We're not adapting what we've got to do to achieve the goal. We're adapting the way we throw. We're adapting the way we carry. We're still doing the event, but obviously we need adaptations. But like I said, there's nothing going to stop me next year. I will compete against able-bodied people, and I will still put them to shame. So at the end of the day, if I'm beating able-bodied people, why can't I compete? And that's what. Why can't I compete in all the games? And that's what we're trying to get across, to the point where we want to not showcase or show off, but
it's
like
more
an exhibition of what we can actually do.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that I've seen training, there's some people I've seen at events that inspire me to do it more. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. And like, some of the messages I've seen that you've told me about, that the team's been getting and things, it's just it helps you push on. It helps. It is an inspiration. It is an inspiration, because if someone like it how do we put it? It's say for example, I feel like I can't do something, and then people tell you can do it, but when you actually see for your own eyes someone who you wouldn't sometimes you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I know what that feels.
I think
no, you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean?
It's like when I was
you
involved
wouldn't expect to be competing at that level and doing that, it and smashes it. And like, for me, that's mega. If they can do it, I can do it, you know.
Yeah, it's like when I competed in athletics and shot put, discus, hammer, all of them sort of things, I was going to open events, and I was the only athlete standing there with a pair of tracksuit bottoms on, competing in tracksuit bottoms, because I hid my disability, because I felt ashamed to show my disability when I was competing against able-bodied athletes. But then what I would say when I was coming first, second, third, in the top 5 even, after that event, when I was getting changed on the side of the track, and these able-bodied athletes were there, and when I was taking tracksuit bottoms off and they're saying that I've got a disability, that got them talking about it. And then over time, when the officials seen it, and then the clubs understood and heard about it and start asking questions, that's when they start saying, well, if we've got an adaptive athlete there who is coming in the top 5 against able-bodied, why can we not put an adaptive category on the field at the same time?
Yeah.
And then when the public starts seeing it, that this lad here with a leg missing or without the use of an arm, or is having to be strapped into a chair, and he's thrown just the same amount of distance as the bloke in the cage next to him who's got all of his limbs, it opens not just the sport, it opens everything up for that adaptive athlete, and it inspires other people with disabilities and injuries to actually say, wait a second, I can actually go out and train. Because you do get some people with disabilities that get told the whole life, you can't do it, you're not allowed to do it, it's not safe. I'm telling you, it's the opposite.
I'm the opposite. Yeah. You tell me I can't do
ask
something,
the question.
Go up my way to do it.
It's like, it asks the question, doesn't it? It asks the question. You know what I mean? it highlights the question, should I say? It doesn't ask the question, it highlights the question. Looking forward into 2021. Obviously, we've spoke about the Highland Games, and we're all looking forward for that to get back underway and get going again. But I'm just wondering, what else is everyone looking forward to in a post lockdown world? To be fair, so what's everyone looking forward to in 2021? We'll start with Charlie. We've got this going now. We start with Charlie.
Well, the thing that'll bring most joy to me will be getting my shirt out on a Friday night, followed by my kilt, tie, socks, and jacket, and then I'll probably end up getting my shoes a clean, and I know the games will be back.
Yes.
One of the things that I'm going to look forward to it, but it's also going to be a challenge, is to get the adaptive name out on the circuit. And I mean, provide more competition opportunities for these fellas.
Yeah.
Because, one, their commitment deserves it. The games need to be, I think, in time, will need to be seen to be more inclusive.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean that in a bad way to the games. The games do really well, but there's challenges that are going to come upon us whether we like it or not. One of them is female participation, and it doesn't reflect on anything. They want to be competing in the heavyweight competitions. It's like the adaptive, and I see where everybody comes from, and I see the reason, and the reason that the games need to change. You still hear the traditional events. Jim will probably, he listens to quite a lot of these YouTube clips and that, and I think one thing that's possibly going to have to be looked at is like a B league in heavyweight competition, which would allow people with disabilities, etc., to come in, not come in at the big deep end. The big deep end is very hard for anybody to survive in.
Well, yeah, you got the likes of the Saltman brothers and things like that as well, haven't you?
They're more into the stone lifting. We never see them at the games.
Oh, okay.
They're more into the strongman stone lifting. Mark Toner's subject. There is challenges in what I mean. I'm prepared to work with the Jim and Mark and the other fellas, Help for Heroes, Wounded Highlanders, the people in America, because there is a place in Highland Games for these people. And one of the things that really brought it home to me was I was at the Castle of May Games in 2017, and it was no more than a roadside picnic.
Really?
And we were asked by His Royal Highness, directors of the Scottish Highland Games Association, to build the event up. And we got a call from Alex the Tank Armour, the American fellow in a wheelchair. What did Scottish Highland Games Association do for adaptive athletes? And sadly to say, we had to hold our hand up and say 0. And for that day in January, the whole thing has transpired. Castle of May Games have probably are at the stage now they could host a 2-day event. It's went from that size to possibly capacity. The capacity being the spectators that attend the games now. They're fortunate it's on the North Coast 500, right at the peak. So the advantage is there, and the Games Committee have grasped what's been going on, and they've built on it, along with the Help for Heroes, people that have been involved in discussions. Jim, etc., Mark. But the event up there is transformed. For being unkind, but a wee Highland Games it's nothing to what it is to this present day, and it's gonna get bigger.
Oh, aye, definitely.
And better.
Do you think, Charlie, do you think that if other Highland Games members who host their own events actually came along to the May Games and seen it, that they would actually understand it more and say that there's a positive that can be took to their event as well by having adaptive there?
Yep. Well, I'm not sure that you might know. I've noticed last year there was another representative from North Berwick Highland Games, John Starr. He sat with my wife most of the day, him and his wife.
Yeah.
Now, he was very impressed with what went on there.
Mm-hmm.
I know Stirling Highland Games are keen to host that through, I believe some people were talking at the Armed Forces Day in 2019, 2018 maybe. So he's keen to take that on next year. The big problem with that weekend, it's one of the busiest weekends in the calendar. We've got a massive games at Aboyne in Scotland, a massive games in the Highlands, Newton Moor. There's other games on.
Yeah.
I think when people see what they're doing, what we're doing, I think they will eventually open up.
Yeah.
Bring the Yanks, Charlie. I want to bring the Yanks, Charlie. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that, like everything, I watched an event, it was on YouTube, which was a full adapted event.
The pandemic games.
The pandemic games. And even then, it's sort of like, why haven't we, not as in the Highland Games, that's what started me and Jim, really. So like, why haven't we got one of them? Why can't we have one of them? Let's have one. Let's go and get it. And it's done. We're so close to actually having it all finalised, written off to the point where next year I can't wait for next year. I've got such a good year next year. I can't wait for it. Like I said, I want to thought we can wake up and be next year.
Well, it's like, I'm in a position now. Well, I see me. What I mean by that is in the Wounded Highlanders is now in a position now where we have got pretty much all the kit where if we wanted to host our own games, we've got the kit to do it. But I don't mean it that way. What I mean is if we've got, say, just any one of these Highland Games organisers, event organisers, turns around and say, right, we would like you to come along, but we haven't got the kit. I can say, I've got the kit. If they say we can accommodate 4, 6, 10, however many, I can say, well, I've got that number of athletes on my paperwork. So at the moment, all we would need is an event organised to say,
we can answer every question.
Yes, you can come along. Yes, you can bring this amount of people, be it 1, be it 10, be it however many. We've got it. We can sort of. I'm in a position now where I can work with the organisers and say, right, what do you need from us?
Because we can answer every question you throw at us, and we can solve every problem that you throw at us.
We can hopefully do half, if not more, of the work load that they might need to do. Yeah. We can do it for them.
What you tend to see as well is as soon as you start opening up events to a wider category of people, whether that be disability, whether it be ethnic minority, whether it be different groups of people, your exposure goes through the roof. Because you've got to think, if I can what's the word? If I can connect with someone that's at that event, I see like a clip of someone that's throwing a massive weight, like mass meters. If I can connect with that person on a level, then it makes it more relevant to myself. So the more the wider the catchment of people, the wider the group of people, like I say, whether it be disabled athletes, whether it be black and ethnic minority athletes, whether it be women, like you say, you're going on the women's side of things with the Highland Games. It opens it up again. You just going to see mad growth year on year then, because people can. I hate this because I can't think of a word. That's the word. Yeah, I can relate to it more. I can relate to the people that I'm seeing. It's like it's the same with everything, isn't it?
Well, that's what I've been sort of behind closed doors and obviously behind the curtain, should we say, is I've been working on what we call making waves, which is sort of not targeting, but targeting certain places. So, say, such as athlete that Charlie knows well, Kyle Randall. He's got an absolutely brilliant podcast called Behind the Tree. So I connected with him and says, look, what's the chances of speaking about adaptive athletes, and do you think they fit into the not? They got spoke about, so straight away his followers are hearing it getting spoke about. I've had people from America, from the North American Highland Games Association, contact us, and I've sort of getting information from them to see how they run it, what they can do. Is there possible chances of us going to the States and competing? I've contacted, let's say, a very famous event that's normally hosted in America that'll be hosted over in the UK next year. I've contacted them. They're very interested. I'm not saying much more on that at the minute because Mark might start getting the little girls' giggles. And
he already is. Look at him. Look at him.
And
I'll be there anyway. Just to let you know, I'll be there anyway.
We've had a big athletics magazine called Athletics Weekly, which is quite big across Europe. They've been talking about the Wounded Highlanders in there. So I'm slowly but surely getting the word out, and it's getting spoke about in the right sort of groups, should we say, in the right communities. And the more we get people talking about it, the more times the question will come is, so why is it not happening? Or what's getting in place?
What needs to be put in place for it to happen?
Well, exactly. I can't see that being an issue because this bloke here, he's got more neck than a giraffe, and he can get most things for free. That's him. That's where it is. People say I'm mouthy. I'm not the one.
You are.
That's mouthy. Really, to be fair, I've just got good banter. That's all.
It's knowing the right people and being able to word it the correct way.
You've got more neck than a giraffe.
But I'm not doing all of this to benefit me.
No, we're not.
It's to benefit everybody else. Yeah, obviously, when that door opens, be it Highland Games, be it
you nearly said it.
Be it club level athletics, be it grassroots, anything. When the doors start opening for adaptive athletes to come through, all of these organisations are what are going to benefit first and foremost. Then the athletes will benefit, and then after all that, I'll benefit from it, knowing that what I've done and the time and effort I've put in has been worth it. And then that's when I'll be able to relax and actually compete in these events myself.
Yeah,
I'm always about helping people. I'm always about. I would never ever call myself a selfish person. There is only one event that I am making sure I'm going to next year, and that is the Disabled Strongman. I've been approached by the organizer. I will be competing in that, and I will be smashing that, and that will lead on to other things that the team might be involved in later on in the year. So I'm not doing it to, I don't know, to get famous. I'm not doing it to earn money. I'm doing it to help. Like with my training, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I still train my clients that I've got now. It's not about being humble to your surroundings and the people that you care about. Yeah. And if I can help someone who's sat on the couch now with one leg, with one arm, with a brain injury, with depression, with any sort of mental illness, and they can see me get off my behind, I'll rephrase that word, off my behind, and walk into the gym and train as hard as I can and use that as treatment, then that's all I'm out for. It's about showing people, just because you've got a disability or you've got a limit or someone says you can't do something, the only person who tells me I can't do something is myself. If anyone else tells me I can't do something, I will go out my way to prove them wrong. And I won't have it. Like, the biggest regret I've got this year, not only with the game being closed, is that I didn't get my 5th stone. So next year, when I have a sling, which is going to be produced by Sparta, I'm going for all of them. All of them. That's my goal, is to get every one of them up. I don't care how long it takes, but I will get every one of them up.
Yeah.
My biggest regret is actually not attempting the stones last year and seeing Hollywood walk away with 3rd place when it could have been me.
Do you mean
I think Jim, Mark's got 2 regrets, doesn't he?
You've got 2 regrets.
Yeah, exactly. 2.
Right.
Did
The
they
other
run-
one, his ratchet straps.
What did I say to you?
That's what he was talking
Yeah, I
about.
know, but you said it, not him.
Oh,
And I'm going to
I
get
thought you would have given.
all of them. And I'll bring my ratchet straps, because I know I've sorted the admin out. Because when I'm not known as Batman, unlike some people, I know when I've got to go somewhere, I've got to be able to have all the kit. I actually took the ratchet straps out because someone told me we're going to be picking up a load of kit and a 100-metre tug of war rope. So I thought, I don't really need to put that box in because I'm not going to be able to fit it in. So Badman here, I will make an arrangement with Charlie to go and pick them up with me ratchet straps, and I won't be out taking you with me with that.
And you'll have to drive all with that yourself. But,
just make sure you don't put your drink in the freezer.
Just a wee bit on that subject, Nathan.
Yeah.
I think the member games and the Scottish Games Association have got a bit of work to do, because if you take it on a ladder, even if we're sitting halfway up the ladder, the adaptive personnel are pushing very hard to get on our step and possibly above. That's where it's sitting at the moment. And I would be happy in 2021 if 1, 2 games took it on, maybe 5 the following year, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's progress,
again, for me,
progression, isn't it?
That's what I'd love to see. Even if next year comes and there is only 1 or 2 games that sort of, let's say, open the door, I'd still love to go along to other games with Mark and stuff, even not to compete, just to go along and actually have our faces there, just so people can come and ask us questions or anything. Just, I want to travel Scotland next year as well and actually attend some events as a spectator.
Yeah.
So, and whilst I'm there, obviously, I'll learn a lot of things, see how things are run, and who's the best people to talk to.
Is that just the distilleries?
Distillery tour.
I was just about to say, is that just the distilleries that you're touring?
Pretty much.
Well, I've got, if you can see, I've got part of, Mark hasn't seen this yet, but I've got part of the tour for next year sorted out. With James. The Stones.
There's only one I don't particularly want to go to, and that is number 6. Number 6. I don't fancy swimming, because when I swim, I just tend to go around in circles.
The Collinseed Stone.
Yeah, when I get in water, I just tend to go around in a circle, so I don't really fancy doing that. I get tired pretty quick.
But fellas, yeah, well, we will we'll wrap it up there. But fellas, it's been an absolute pleasure, Charlie. It's been lovely to speak to you and to find out a bit more about the Highland Games. To be fair, because since the start of this podcast, I've kind of been on the back foot because I didn't have a clue, to put it bluntly. So each week I've been getting little snippets from Mark and Jim. But to actually have a bit of an insight, and obviously I'll go watch the Netflix show. What's that called again? Sorry.
Home game.
Home game. I'm gonna definitely have a watch of that and find out a bit more. What's that?
Episode 2 or 3 it is. The
Episode 2
game.
off. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, so it's a series.
Yeah, it's a series of multiple different traditional events.
I like the first one.
The first one is brutal.
I like the first one.
I bet you like the first one.
It's absolutely brutal.
But yeah, fellas, it's been a pleasure. Charlie, thank you very much for joining us and taking this time out of your day, out of your day. And Mark and Jim, same time next week, fellas.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, Charlie.
Cheers, Charlie.
Yep, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe into the stream. Click that little subscribe button and the little bell next to it to make sure you get notified when we post a new video. Check us out on the socials, Mark Thomas Training, Wounded Highlanders, and make sure you check out the Highland Games and Home Game on Netflix. But yeah, until next week, guys, thank you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.